Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman. This show is brought to you by TruePsychicsNetwork.com, TPN TV. So be sure to check out the TruePsychicsNetwork.com if you haven't done so, and check out all the wonderful radio and TV shows that each member of True Psychics Network, or TPN, has to offer. TPN is home to holistic professionals, and not just the psychics, so don't let True Psychics Network, the name, fool you. It's the most gifted holistic professionals are highlighted and featured on TPN. So, welcome to this show. It's a cloudy day, cloudy Tuesday in southeastern Connecticut. And, you could hear, my dogs could hear too. I don't know if you could hear that. That was right here on the water, on the Sound, and then the Thames River. So we're surrounded by water, but right across, the Thames River separates two cities, Groton, which is where I am, and then New London, which is, there's a port there. So, I mean, literally, I could just walk a block and be at the Thames River and could see across to the port. So you could hear there's cruise ships that come in, huge cruise ships. So I just heard a cruise ship coming in or leaving. So so it's really nice for this area, pump in all that type of business, and they have ferries that run back and forth between the cities. And so it's if you have never visited Groton, Groton, or the New London areas of Connecticut, I highly recommend you check out the southeastern part of Connecticut. So this area here, we're close to the Rhode Island border too. So we're, like I'm saying, the southeastern part of Connecticut. So check it out. Okay, that's the plug for this area. But no, it's becoming that touristy time of the year. We have people, family, loved ones that want to come and visit us because there's just so much to do in this area. Because we are 2 hours away, going to the east to Boston, 2 hours away to the west to New York. It's a great location. And then you can go 2 hours up north, Massachusetts. I mean, there's just so much to do in this area. So it's something for everyone. Beautiful beaches, hikings. I mean, there's just so much. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. And how's everyone enjoying these earth and universal changes that's going on? I've talked about this in the last show, so I won't go into great detail about it. But the good news for those that are waiting for business contracts and business deals, Mercury is going direct this Friday the 12th. But it's not that Mercury just slams on brakes, or it just appears to be going backwards. But it's not that Mercury goes direct immediately on Friday, so I would give it several more days. Wait till Monday the 15th, June 15th, before you settle into these business negotiations and transactions and signing any contracts, buying any cars, computers, anything of that nature. Wait till next week to do that. All right, just to be in the clear, wait till next week. Better safe than sorry. But, but this is a wonderful time to continue to use this retrograde to work within, to do your spiritual work and work on you spiritually. All right, take advantage of this. This is a beautiful time for that. It's not that, oh my goodness, my life is on hold. No, it's time to take care. This is all about the balance. So we have like this balance of, on one side, work, who we are, identity, whatever, quite honestly, right? Society, what we do. There we go. What we do on one side of the scales. And then our spirituality is who we be. So see, the be and the doing need that balance. You can't always be in the do-do. Well, that doesn't sound right. Be in the do-do. You can't always be in that do mode. You'd have to be as well. So it's a great balance. Oh, it's so funny. Doo-doo. It matches the whole topic for the day, too. Holistic pet care. A little humor for you, a little joke. Anyway, we'll get back. We'll get to the topic soon. Let me just continue on with this. I'd like to start the show with a numerology of the day, the number of the day, what type of energy is favorable that you can tap into for the day. All right. So we take the complete date of today, which is June 9th, 2015. The complete date. June is, of course, number 6 month. We know that. This is the number 9th day. 2015 is an 8 vibrational year. This is a number 8 year. All right. How'd you get number 8 from 2015? We add numerology. You add numbers down to single digit between 1 and 9. So if you look at 2015, you just keep adding the numbers to itself. All right, so like 2 plus 0 is still 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. That's how we get that, okay? So this is a highly beautiful, universal 8 vibration year. Woo! All right, so then adding all this up for today. So 6 plus 9 plus 8 equals 23. Oh, we're not done. We still have to take that number down to a single digit. 2 plus 3 is 5. So today is a 5 vibrational day. And this number carries a lot of energy and action with it too. When I hear the number 5, I immediately think of a star. The 5-pointed star. All right, so that's very powerful. It's you can feel full of power and excitement and ready to face every challenge that this day puts in front of you. You're probably going to feel a little bit more uninhibited than usual today. All right. You're going to want to try to, this is a good day to start something new or change something in your life on a spiritual realm, not in the physical. Don't start anything. What I'm saying, like starting a project, anything business related, anything that has to do with that doing part. No. But the being is fine. If you want to start a new spiritual course, sure. Start reading a new, whether it's self-help, new age, whatever you want to call it. It's very old age. But books, read the books. Read a book. You know, those type of start something new today. Start something new that's going to help develop yourself spiritually. That's the new thing that you can do. And be. It's also a great day to socialize with others. So get out there if you feel like you want to socialize with loved ones and friends. It's very, very favorable. The energy's there. Tap into it. And that's the whole thing with this is it's not that these things are going to happen. Oh my goodness, it's going to happen. I'm going to sit back and wait for it. No, we have to still do our part. It's that this is the energy that's on maybe a little higher vibration. That's favorable. You have to get to that vibration and tap into it. So that's even like with the horoscopes or anything like that. It's never just a sitting back, letting it all happen. It's kind of like a checkpoint of where you are spiritually and what you still have to accomplish. Okay? So, and speaking of horoscopes, if you check out the True Psychics Network website and on the horoscope page. The horoscopes were just put out yesterday. They run Monday to Monday, weekly. And I actually put them out for this week. I channeled them. Yesterday was a very powerful writing day. I journal every morning. I have my meditation and journaling time early morning. It's like 2 hours. From 7 to 9 is my high. You know, okay, I'm going to sit and do this. Sometimes if I do it with my desk, though, I find that I'll take care of a little business in between this. You know, so if someone Skypes me or messages me and it's just a quick response, I'll take care of it. Sometimes I have to literally just get up and walk away and go to a different area in the house and just journal. Because sometimes my guides we don't want any distractions. So it's like, okay. Let's go. Let's go find some place. We'll get away from the work computers. But It's so yesterday was a very one of those days where I just start writing and it just didn't want to stop and start flowing. And then it was even just high meditation or got a lot of visits from spirit and teachers and angel. When I say guides, I'm including all angels, all types of guides, everyone for our highest and greatest. And you can have people in history. Yesterday, Tesla came in, and it was interesting because I had the TV on I had the TV on the History Channel, and I was actually going through some of my old recordings of Ancient Aliens, and they were talking about Tesla, so I put it on, and I sat back. I was watching it, and then I just sat back. And you start daydreaming, you start taking off. And people who astral travel all the time know what I'm talking about. You just start taking off, leaving your body. And next thing I know, Tesla's standing beside me or standing there. And I'm like, oh, cool. And so I know that if you over sensationalize it, so to speak, you pop out of it. So I was like, my mind's like, oh, that's cool, that's Tesla. And I'm just like, shh, calm down. Let's stay open so we can hear him. And so I was still staying in that state, like in between state. It's just, you're going to a different space. And so we had an interesting conversation. I asked him some questions I always wanted to ask him. And so we chit-chatted and it was very nice. And you can ask any person you want to hear from to come in and have a conversation with you. And if they don't come right away, they will come. You almost have to schedule because they're still working. Just because they're on the other side, and other side is very loose and very broad general term because they could be anywhere else in this universe. All right? Not just the Earth's other side. Each universe or each system has an other side, and then there's the main other side. Our mind sometimes can't comprehend how huge this universe is and how vast it is and how it's set up. And so try to keep it simple. It really is simple, but we have to make it harder than it is because it just seems so confusing. But anyway, so sometimes you have to make an appointment with them, put it out there you would like to discuss it with them. Tell your angels, tell your guides, and they will most definitely make sure that they'll set up that type of meeting. But I didn't even ask, so it's really nice that he just stepped in. Maybe, though, on a subconscious level I did because the TV was on. They were talking about him. And one of my thoughts that I had before he showed up was, I was like, how terrible that he was not appreciated in his own time. And greedy, bleep, 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 choice words, people that wanted to charge for this electricity instead of, and he wanted to give it to everybody. Everyone has a right to it for free. Anyway, here's an interesting quote, because one of the messages he told me today is that the future is now. To understand what he meant by the future is now, he was quoted with saying in his time frame, it's okay, because he kept getting passed over. He was labeled a lunatic, a madman, all this other stuff, by those that wanted to charge and be greedy. You see how they just try to ruin your reputation for their own greed. We're not falling for that crap anymore, are we? Hello, we can see through all this now. All right. So it's interesting he had said at one time, because that was my thought, and he comes in with the present. This is a quote he said in the past now. Okay, so the present is theirs, the future is mine. He comes in saying that. Kid you not, 5 minutes later on the TV, they said there's this quote that he said. And I was laughing. I was like, that's so cool. And so what he was trying to say is that the future is here, the future is now. And it's right there. don't worry, everything is going to shift and change. I mean, it's already started, all right, and that the greedy so-and-sos, you know, they're fighting to stay on top, but they're not destined to stay there. Anyway, whew, that was off topic. Anyway, I wanted to share that conversation, a little bit of it, because we did have some more, but it's I'm not into you know, some things should remain private. Anyway, all right, so I talked about it a lot. So while I was sitting there with him, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll do the horoscopes this week. It's my turn. I'm up. So I was like, you know, what am I gonna channel? Who am I gonna channel? Or what's the theme? Or whatever. And so I just, again, thought that, let it go, drifted off, and Isis shows up. And I was like, oh. And so, I mean, Isis is an amazing healer. And so she came through with some really great messages, and that, hence, there you go, the horoscopes. So the horoscopes, I honor and tribute to her because she showed up and was delivering the messages. So it's very, very nice. I do encourage you to check my website, is www.whitesagewoman.com. That's whitesagewoman.com. All right. So I'd like to talk about or deliver, the crystal message for the week. I always like to do a crystal message. And the crystal for this week is Argonite. Argonite. It's Aragonite. Argonite. Aragonite. If you want to Google that or research that. Okay. So Argonite is the crystal for the week, and it fosters truth, stability, balance, understanding, and clear perception. Beautiful. So, Argonite. You should see what it looks like. It's very, very pretty. Well, let me just get some water here. And hello, those in chat. If you're watching this live, you have the opportunity to chat with the other live viewers. And hello, everyone in chat. And it's okay. Don't be discouraged. When you watch this in archives, it's okay too. Hello. Hello to everyone. All right. So then also we do the spirit power animal message. And this week, bear showed up. And it was a grizzly, but it was like a brown bear. So a grizzly bear. And the bear represents these type of characteristics. It reminds us about introspect, healing, solitude, communication with spirits, and visionaries. So see, when I shared my experience yesterday, this is the beautiful part of Mercury retrograde. This right here is what we need to be working and focusing on. And this is what the bear is reminding us to do. It's a great time of healing and solitude and introspect, that inner type of inspection. Communication with spirits and visions and visionaries. All right? This is that time. Let's continue to enjoy this week. All right? Where we have the energies are favorable for us plugging in on such a high vibration. All right, so now let's get to it because there's a lot to cover. It's a holistic pet care, and it's was triggered by a personal experience just recently, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to share this with everyone, especially those developing, and because I'm going to talk about the whole trust, the information that you're getting. But first off, let's talk about empowering you as a pet owner, because I encourage everyone to be aware of all of the options, not only with your health, but your pet's health problems, both conventional and alternative. Okay? then I encourage you to be more involved. I think people are so tired nowadays, they don't want to be involved to do anything. They don't want to do the extra work, but we must be. This is how we can be taken over and mind controlled and controlled or whatever, because, oh, they're lazy. Oh, that's cool. Then we can just offer to do it for them, but we're going to do a greedy, unhealthy service, or provide a greedy, unhealthy service. All right? So, be careful. That's how we set ourselves up to be taken advantage of. So, they say knowledge is power. Knowledge right here in the mind is only as powerful as we allow it to be. We can store it and not do anything with it. But when we apply it, take this knowledge and apply it, guess what turns into wisdom right from the heart, right from the sacred heart center, right from the soul. Wisdom is more powerful than knowledge. All right? So this will help you have better outcomes for your dog or cat, often less expensive, and you gain this sense of accomplishment. And it puts the power back in your hands. When we start to, and I want you to think about this for a moment, all right? I really think that most pet owners can and should be more involved. But let me just talk to everyone. Everyone should be more involved even in their own health, not just their pets, but in their own. But I find that those that are more involved with their own health do expand this to their families, and that includes the pets. All right? So it's beautiful how it just expands out. As within, so without, right? How we take care of ourselves, we take care of others. So that's that expansion. So again, if society tells us we can't do something, you're not a doctor, you don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me, it's my body. I'm in it. I'm driving it. I'm operating this temple. I am the temple keeper. I know exactly what's going on. And if what I'm hearing doesn't vibrate right, I'm going to go and get a second opinion. And it's my right to go get a second, third, fourth opinions to take care of myself. It is my responsibility. I'm not giving my power and my responsibility away to anyone else. This is how they can control you. Who's they? You know who I'm talking about. Anybody you give your power away to. All right? And so I'm not saying that all conventional medicine is bad. The emergency, they make great strides in emergency care. And some of the emergency pharmaceuticals is great. But please know, pharmaceuticals were not made for long-term use. It was only meant to be temporary. Anything long-term starts to impede the body's natural healing ability. It gets in the way with it. All right, so I have two great articles to share with you first before I go into my personal experience. But I always like to show you, do the research, all right, and put this information into your own hands and empower you as well. There's a great holistic vet that I follow online. I get his newsletters. And, it's his newsletter emails, and he has great courses. There's webinars. His name is Dr. Andrew Jones, DVM. So, and he is based out of Canada. He was actually kicked out of veterinary studies, services or whatever, because he chose holistic ways of doing things. He'll talk about, it's on his website. You can find out everything. And so he's still empowering people. You can't, I love that when a system of structured, conventional, greedy so-called experts get together and try to pick on someone who's doing the right thing. You know what? You can't suppress the truth, and that's the bottom line. You may try, and we've seen this in our history, those that carry that truth torch, you can the messenger, so to speak. Oh, you can silence the messenger. We can kill them. We can have them assassinated. We can silence them. We can smear them. We can ruin their reputation. We could say they're this, that, they're a criminal, they're sex offenders, they're this, they can label you any way they want to as the messenger, but that truth just leaps to not just one, but 5, 10 more people who are willing to be the truth bearers. All right? You can't kill the truth, period. And this is what's happened now. There's so many light workers who have been activated by the truth that we are here, and hello. Anyway, okay, so Dr. Andrew Jones, and I will give his website at the end, and also those that are watching the archived show in YouTube, I'm going to put the links. I'll put the links that I'm talking about on the bottom on the video, so that you can write them down as you're watching and take notes, or you can just wait and the links will be there. But I do encourage you to take notes. Not everything's going to be on the bottom there. All right, so although these 2 articles that I'm going to read to you, if anyone would like to have copies of them, I'll be happy to email them to you. Just email me and I'll email them to you. First one by Dr. Andrew Jones. This one talks about anesthesia for your pets. How you can ensure that your dog or cat has the safest possible anesthesia if they need surgery. Is your dog or cat safe under anesthesia? A provocative question? Yes, it is. But importantly, timely, and one that many pet parents really worry over. Yes, it is, isn't it? And this is an article from Dr. Andrew Jones, so he's going to talk about when he was in veterinary college, not me. Okay, so in veterinary college, very little time was allocated to anesthesia. There is so much to learn, so little time, and the real training and application of anesthesia and surgery comes after you graduate from veterinary school. Do you know where the conventional doctors get their pharmaceutical training? From the pharmaceutical company themselves. It's not included in their medical course. But the pharmaceutical companies come in and they can tell them and teach them anything they want. All right, enough of that. So, and it's happened even in veterinary school. See this? Then in practice, I being Dr. Jones found that much of the anesthesia, the monitoring and recovery of your pet after surgery is left to the lay staff. And some staff have specific training, example, animal health techs, while others do not. You're thinking your vet's taking care of your pet the whole step. No, they're not. In most cases, things turn out fine. And to be transparent, there has been big advances in veterinary anesthesia knowledge, along with monitoring and the expectations by pet parents that their dogs or cats will be well cared for. But there is big variation in veterinary practice. What you need to do as a concerned pet parent is to ask specific questions. And I'm going to give you these specific questions because sometimes we don't even know. What are the questions to ask? We don't ask questions because we don't know. So here's some empowerment. Here are some questions to ask if your pet needs surgery. 1, who performs the anesthesia at the practice? 2, never withhold water. If the clinic staff suggests that prior to surgery, go elsewhere. It's okay to withhold food. But if they ever say withhold water, go somewhere else. Okay? Because that's not right. It's not right at all. Go somewhere else. they're actually violating some veterinary guidelines when they do that, by the way. And you shouldn't go with that water either. All right, 3. Food should be withheld for 12 hours. Should only be withheld for 12 hours if your pet is over 4 months of age. For young pets, low blood sugar is a big concern. So they should only have food withheld for 4 hours. 4 hours. Then offered food after surgery. There is no need for overnight fasting in cats. None. And your vet can check with the AAFP if they want a second opinion. What is the AAFP? He didn't give the breakdown on what that is, but it's probably like American Animal something. AAF is in Frank, P is in Paul. We can find that out. All right. Physical exam. Expect that your dog or cat is going to be given a pre-surgical physical exam. So, are they going to do a pre-surgical physical exam? 5. What do they use for monitoring? Expect blood pressure to be monitored and pulse oximeter to be used, and that an anesthesia recording sheet is part of the surgery. 6. Do they perform a pre-anesthetic checklist? I have a form at there is this checklist that he did include, and it's in this article. I'm not going to go over all that checklist, but I have it. So again, like I said, if you would like to have a copy of this article, please email me, and I'll be happy to email it to you. 7. Remember that the monitors don't tell you everything. Your pet needs to be checked for body temperature, and that they have adequate blood pressure, and that there is no cardiac arrhythmias. I'm probably saying that wrong. Arrhythmias. Okay. 8. Keeping the pet warm, staying warm. Ask if the practice uses IV fluid warmers, safe heating pads, those that use warm water, not electric heating pads, okay? Warmed up saline if flushing body cavities. Do they warm up the saline? It is important that your dog or cat's body temperature is not allowed to drop. 9. Using great pain control during surgery, such as the use of ketamine in the IV bag. Again, I can email this to you so you can get the spelling, the ketamine in the IV bag, using a narcotic as part of the pre-medication. If adequate pain control is used, then your pet may require a lower concentration of inhalant anesthesia, making the procedure safer. 10. Pre-oxygenate. Oxygenate. If your pet is old, has compromised heart, lung, or organs issues, then by giving them 100% oxygen before they are intubated ensures that they will not go for a period of time without adequate oxygen and makes the procedure much safer. 11. If there's make sure that there's great monitoring after the surgery. Who does that monitoring? The procedure is not finished until your pet can comfortably breathe on their own in their recovery cage. As an example, it's laryngospasm is a common in cats. They have difficulty breathing after the endotracheal tube is removed. This can be treated, but it needs to be monitored for. Okay? 12. Attaching the monitoring equipment to your pet prior to induction of anesthesia. Your pet may have low blood pressure or be low on oxygen, and knowing this ahead of time allows the practice to delay or adjust the anesthesia. And lastly, the choice of anesthesia. Ask what they will use for the first part of anesthesia, the pre-med, the induction of anesthesia with the IV injectables, then what type of gas anesthesia is used to maintain anesthesia. Your pet must be on IV fluids, period. Must be on IV fluids. Now, I had this checklist, so I was able to, last year when we had one of our female dogs, Gracie, I had her, we took her in to have her hysterectomy. So you want to say, okay, took her in to be fixed, to be spayed. Let me tell you, it's a surgery. It's a hysterectomy. Every woman knows how severe this is. All right? And so I wanted to know everything. I wanted the spreadsheet. What are you going to use for anesthesia? What are you going to use for pain? Everything. I wanted everything. What are you going to send her home with? Antibiotics. I need to break down on these antibiotics. It had everything. So that I was in the know to help her, to watch her. All right? And so I will tell you something. I have since changed vets. The one vet that I dealt with, there's only one in the practice who would even honor holistic, allowing me to be who I am. But the only vet that could do that type of surgery, because it's special, it's hysterectomy, was one of the older vets. He's a specialist. And so after, when we went to go pick Gracie up, I asked him, I said, is she going to have any problems? Like females have, is there anything that I need to be concerned about? And he looked at me like I had one eye, or my third eye, which I do. But he looked at me like, what? She's a dog. And not unless she tells you. And I was like, oh, but she will. And he just looked at me strange and walked away. He turned around and walked away. Because I intimidated his pride and his ego and insulted him. And I was like, oh, we're out of here. And we did. We have since changed vets. It's, and finding the vet. And I went and asked to speak with a veterinarian first. To speak with. Before I introduce my 3 dogs, I want to have a chat with you. Because at any point in time, you're not comfortable with me caring for my pets at home and want to fight with me over everything. You're not the one for me. So we need to work together. I'm not opposed to vets, not opposed to doctors. There's a time for them. And now they're being depended on for every... I got a cough, I got a cold, I'm going to run to the doctor. Oh my goodness. Wait it out. It's going to be fine. Rest. We don't rest anymore. It's go, 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 go. Your body needs to rest. You've got to empower your body. Help it to heal itself. And it will. I'm not saying don't do absolutely nothing. There's a fine line between being ignorant and then being aware. Okay? Alright, so then I'm going to stop reading this here because then there's very specific safe protocols. And they actually tell you what meds should be for pre-anesthesia, during the surgery, and everything else. They go into great detail. I'm not going to read all of this, but it's great information to have if your pet, just to have it. Put it aside. Know that you have it, and so that if your pet ever needs surgery, you have this information. You will feel empowered. That you have it. Oh, yes, I've got it. Know what questions to ask and everything else. And again, this is like 7 pages, so it's really long and in detail. So I highly recommend email me. I'll email this to you. This whole article and the procedures. But Dr. Jones has worked in many a practice where the anesthesia protocols were from 20 years ago. Not exactly what you want for your dog or cat. Okay? Dr. Jones's website is www.drjonesnaturalpet.com. Go there. He has great, join his mailing list. You can get his emails, his newsletters. He has courses. He teaches you how to care for your pet. I've taken some of the webinars. He has publications. He has books. Choose Like It's Network's Farmer Chick, Sandy Cameron, also highly recommends him. I know she uses him as well. She, really resonates with what he says. So he is, check him out. Check it out. All right, so the second article I'm going to share with you is by Dr. Karen Becker. If she sounds familiar, she has her own, she's actually on Facebook too. I get her updates on Facebook. She has a newsletter as well, but she's with mercolapets.com, www.mercolapets.com. Again, I'll have these links at the end of the video, or when you look at YouTube and they have the description of the show, I'm going to put the links there. All right. So what this article is going to talk about is annual vaccinations. 2 years ago, the American Animal Hospital Association, the AAHA, Canine Vaccination Task Force updated their vaccination guidelines. The task force changed the previous annual protocol for core vaccinations to an every 3-year protocol, with the exception of a 1-year rabies shot. In many states, you can choose either 1 or 3-year rabies vaccine for your pet. If you choose a 1-year shot, or if your state doesn't offer a 3-year vaccine, the annual protocol is required by law. That's the only vaccine that is mandatory in the state of Connecticut is rabies. And you can go either 1 or 3. They don't lock you down to an annual. The task force also acknowledged in the updated guidelines that for non-rabies core vaccines, immunity lasts for at least 5 years in their body for distemper, parvovirus, and at least 7 years for adenovirus. This means that even the updated 3-year protocol is overkill. The vaccine, do you understand what this means? The vaccine is still in the dog's body. It's still in there. And so you're going to go and add some more on a yearly basis? That is overkill. But now they're saying even the 3-year protocol is overkill because these vaccines are lasting 5 to 7 years in their bodies. Veterinarians who are vaccine minimalists are certainly Dr. Becker is one of them, view this protocol change as a small step in the right direction. We feel revaccinating pets against disease they are already immune to poses significant and unnecessary health risks. I can't tell you how many cases I've read of people where their pets just suddenly die and they don't understand. You go do an autopsy. And you have to pay for that. Are they going to be truthful and honest with you? Because are they going to expose that it might have been over vaccination? So now that puts the vet at risk of being sued. That puts the pharmaceutical company at risk for, you see, liability. But they count on people to be stupid and not do their research. Wrong. All right. We are talking about people's pets who are like their furry babies, part of the family. I'm sorry, and it's devastating to have our pets, any loved one to die from greed. That's what it all comes down to, doesn't it? Greed. Anyway, so here's a big question. Why are 60% of vets still doing annual revaccinations? Sadly, despite the new guidelines that are now 2 years old, members of the traditional veterinary community have been slow to adopt the new recommended protocol. According to Mark Kimsey, a DVM who works for Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica Inc., it's a veterinary pharmaceutical company. Basically, what you're seeing is that there's a gradual trend towards 3-year protocols. Dr. Richard Ford, a DVM, who was on both the AAHA Canine Vaccination Task Force, here's what AAFP means, and the American Association of Feline Practitioners Feline Vaccination Advisory Panel, and agrees with Kimsley. It's a slow change, says Ford. Most practices still recommend annual vaccinations. All the vet schools are teaching the triennial, the every 3-year vaccinations. The new schools are, right? Updated courses, but it's the old school ones. And what do they tell you? Oh, you want to choose a vet that's been in business for a very long time. Hold on. Are they set in their ways? They're set in their ways. Do they go to annual convention? Do they embrace changes? Do they embrace holistic and naturopathy? You know, these are questions to ask when you're looking for your vets. All right. So, it appears there's no shortage of vets out there willing to openly admit they don't want to lose the income from unnecessary vaccines, and new safer protocols be damned. Agreed. Hopefully you're not taking your pet to a veterinarian who is similarly misguided, dangerous practice philosophy. Unwilling to change? Are they addicted to easy money? Or a bit of both? Easy money. You hear that? Easy money. Yep. According to Veterinary Practice News, Dr. Gary D. Norsworthy, owner of the Alamo Feline Health Center in San Antonio, and a practicing vet for 40 years, is among the 60% who aren't budging from an annual vaccination schedule for their patients. His rationale is that he has a number of clients who will only bring their cats in for wellness exams if they believe vaccines are needed. Norsworthy says he's determined not to lose the opportunity to do annual checkups on cats in his practice. So he uses only the 1-year rabies vaccine and tells his patients he must see their cats yearly. There's a way around this, and I'll tell you at the end. Norsworthy believes internet chatter scares cat owners into believing vaccines are dangerous. He notes that his practice vaccinated 25% fewer cats in 2012 compared to 2007. Oh, wow. He says he sees one case of feline vaccine-associated sarcoma for every 65,000 vaccines he injects. Wow, what? So you say it's all a number game. The few doesn't matter because there's more who is okay with it. Sure. All right. So clearly Dr. Norsworthy, like many conventional vets, makes no connection between other feline health problems and repeated unnecessary annual vaccinations. Like Norsworthy, many DVMs don't know or don't choose to know about the dozens of other health crises that can arise as a result of vaccines, and especially as the result of repeated revaccinations. Rather than figure out how to give clients logical, legitimate reasons to bring their pets in for regular wellness exams, the majority of vets apparently prefer to continue the risky business of just revaccinating their patients year in and year out. Couldn't it be that this approach to pet scare is why veterinary visits have steadily declined in recent years. Is it really so difficult to explain to pet owners the benefits of bringing their dog or cat in for at least one wellness visit a year? Just a wellness visit. Okay. From my experience, it's not that difficult at all. I see the majority of the patients in my practice for wellness visits twice a year, and it is extremely rare that I administer any vaccine to an adult animal, excluding the mandatory 3 years rabies. Also, according to Dr. Ford, there are some DVMs who would also like to follow the new guidelines but are concerned that vaccine product labels include text that reads annual booster recommended. This seems a very strange argument in favor of continuing annual vaccinations, doesn't it? If canine and feline vaccination advisory panels have established new recommended guidelines, why would a vet choose instead to take the advice of the vaccine manufacturer's product label? Of course they're going to say use it every year. They're pushing a product. Alright, so there is a way. And Dr. Jones actually has covered this in his course, one of the courses he takes. I'm going to share this with you. You can request a titer test. What am I saying? Titer. T-I-T-E-R. What is a titer test? A titer test tests all of the vaccine levels in your pet's body. So, some have even done it after a 3-year rabies. They go in, I want a titer test for rabies specifically. You can do for all. And they still have the rabies vaccine in them. They have to write a letter. The vet now has to write a letter for those that maybe are required by law, city, state, licensing for your pets or whatever. They write a letter for you stating this pet's still covered because the vaccine is still in their system. You can do this for each and every one. I do not have, after their puppy vaccines, all right, that's very important. After they had their puppy vaccinations, that's it. I take them back every year to keep getting revaccinated. But like I said, the titer test, T-I-T-E-R, is one that you can ask for. It's a test that costs about $80 to $100 depending on the vet, but it tests to show you the levels of vaccines that are still in your pet's body, and it can save your pet from being over vaccinated. This is information, this is knowledge in your hands that many vets wish you wouldn't have. But when you approach them with it, if they want your business, what are they going to do? I mean, if they lie to you and you know they're lying, you're going to go somewhere else. If they're not willing to work with you, you're going to go somewhere else. So if they want your business, they're going to work with you. Right? They should. They really should. And that's what I wish, is that all conventional would get on board back to. This is where it started from, though. It all started with homeopathic. It all started with herbs. It all started with natural. And synthetic came into play, and that's big money in synthetic meds, right? And pharmaceuticals. So let me get some more water here. Oh. So another website, because I shared with you Dr. Andrew Jones and then Dr. Karen Becker. If you just search her on Facebook, you can find her own page. And she's also with mercolapets.com. There's another website that had helped me with a recent situation that I'm going to share with you. It's hpathy.com, which is short for homeopathy. H as in ham, path like the path that you walk on, with a y.com. hpathy.com. Now I'm going to share you a story. We have a 14-year-old border collie, English channel Spaniel, sorry, English channel. It's almost like a tongue twister. A Border Collie English Spaniel mixed dog. She's black and white. She's gorgeous. Foxy is her name. She's 14 years old. We never had her fixed. We rescued her when she was 6 months old. And so all that time, we've gone through all the heats with her. Why didn't at that time? To this day, I am, if you can keep your body parts, keep your body parts. In humans and in pets. I do understand now the importance of why you would want to fix a pet. I can understand that. I wish we had a lot of people, a lot of vets in the past get angry at us that we did not fix her, but not one of them had said that she was double jinxed because both breeds that she's mixed with are high risk for what we just found out that she has. No one ever told us that. Okay? Now, you can actually find out the breeds that are high risk for this if you go to that hpathy.com website and research this. But we noticed, and I'm going to go through a little timeline for you. So today is Tuesday, so let's go back to next week. Thursday, our Foxy was moving a little slow. I always pay attention to how she's doing as being a senior dog. And I thought, okay, she's moving slow today. That's not unusual. Sometimes she has these days, you know. And so I was watching her. Friday, though, we knew something was definitely wrong when she didn't want to move. She had great difficulty. We actually had to pick her up and take her outside to use the bathroom. She did continue, though, to urinate and have bowel movements, which is very important to always watch. Intake and outtake. All right. She wouldn't eat on Friday. Nothing. She didn't want to eat, but she drank a lot of water. One of the times in picking her up and taking her outside, we noticed she was leaking pus all down her tail, all the back of her legs, and it was coming from her female part, from her vagina. And I was like, wow, this is not good. This is not, my husband at first, is it a yeast infection? I was like, not like this, honey. Not, you can see the pus coming out. No, this is not that. So with research, I went to my guides, and I was like, you got to guide me, help me. As I'm trying to, I understand, I honor, I was feeling panic because we love, it's a natural reaction when someone we love, whether it's someone or a pet or any being that we love, that we realize that someone is in distress. And so I was aware of my panic, and it was stay calm, okay, guides, I need your help here. Let's do this. I'm going to go online. And I put the symptoms in, and sure enough, what popped up, first try was the hpathy.com website, where they talk about she has severe open pyometra. Pyometra. It's Pyometra. Pyometra. And we say open because she's leaking that pus. If it was closed, that would be pretty dangerous. That would mean that it's not being released, the pus is not being released, that it's leaking internally, and it can grow inside. She would swell, and then it would burst and she would die. That's a 48, and she could be dead in 48 hours. So we researched all of this, reading all of that. We knew she wasn't closed. She was open. She was in the beginning. And you could feel, I could feel the fear rising up. Oh my gosh. Well, what is the plan? How can you reverse this? How can you stop it? Is by taking them to go get fixed, to get a hysterectomy. I was like, that's not an option. I know for a fact that our 14-year-old dog is not going to survive a surgery like that. Now, if I tell you what this little survivor dog has been through, she has been through a lot of surgeries in the past just because I'm not even going to get into it. It's because she has no fear. But no, a lot of the past surgeries was dental because she had such terrible, before we got her, puppy hygiene and care, puppy care, that her teeth. So we spent a lot of money in her youth on her dental care, and then it just got to no more. We can't even get her teeth cleaned by the vet anymore because she just can't go through this anesthesia. So we know she can't go through another surgery. That's not a question. That's not an option. We also don't want her to be in pain. And so they were like, there is a natural, oh, I forgot to pull that one out of the drawer. So I could show you. There's a couple of natural things I'm going to go over with you. Stay tuned. I know we're over an hour here, but or right at an hour. Just give me 5 more minutes. What we are treating her with is called Arsicum album. It's a healthy version of arsenic. So, Arsicum album. All right. So, there was in my guides were like, yes, this is what you get. You get the 30 C's. You know, comes in a little vial, and you give her up to 200 C's a day. All right. Now, do I trust this that I'm hearing? Or am I going to let the fear make me chance and risk? Let's just rush her to the vet, have this surgery, and risk her not surviving. And we're left with high bills. Because before they do the surgery, they have to do x-rays, they have to do ultrasound. All of this. Wow. I took a deep breath and I was like, I trust you giving me this information. I would search other sites, but I always would come right back to this one. And my guides are like gently guiding, here. We gave it to you. It's right here. Now you're just going to make yourself frantic and a little crazy by doing all this extra research. Stop. I listened. So this was on Friday now. Doesn't it always seem that at the end of the week, a Friday or a weekend, something happens and you have to wait for the week? But the good thing is that this particular item, this Arsenicum album, is on Amazon. I overnighted it, got it here Saturday. They were here Saturday before noon. And so we got it right in her. Now, let me tell you, we could tell a difference. I mean, she was in such pain. She was tears coming out of her eyes. By Saturday night, with the first full dose in her body, all right, the tears stopped. We could tell she wasn't in pain as much anymore. She was lifting her head up, so she's making progress. We were really happy with that. She lifted her head up, and she just seemed a little bit more alert. All right, alert. Now we had noticed again Thursday night and Friday night. Friday night, and then Saturday night she stayed downstairs. She did not come upstairs. Usually, all the dogs come upstairs with us for bedtime at night. So she spent Friday and Saturday night downstairs here, on the cool kitchen floor. All right, because they're hot and inflamed, and so it feels good. So and plus that whole muscle thing, could she get upstairs? So then Sunday morning came around, and still stuck with a dose, 30 cc's. Oh yeah, on Saturday it was 30 cc's every half hour, up to 6 doses. And then Sunday we continued on with 6. You could do 6 to 7 doses. Within, I think I did 7 on Sunday. All right. By midday on Sunday, she was hungry. So I gave her a quarter of what she ate now because she hadn't eaten since Thursday. You want to be very careful. Don't, when you reintroduce the food, don't give them their full amount because they could throw up. It can have an adverse reaction, just a little. So I gave her a quarter of what she normally would eat, and she ate it. I mean, she wolfed it down. She was hungry. I was happy about that. She was now getting up, second day, on this particular product. She was getting up now and would go outside on her own, walk herself down. We didn't have to pick her up and carry her. All right? So, and much more alert again, and more vibrant. She ate dinner Saturday night. I'm sorry, she ate dinner Sunday night. She ate dinner Sunday night. So, Sunday she resumed her eating. Monday was day 3, because it was like just be on this for 3 days. And then you stop. And then if symptoms reoccur again, then you start it again. The whole process. And this is what we have to do with her to keep her comfortable until she's done on this earth plane. All right, but at least we know what to do, and we know that it works. And so yesterday was her 3rd day. I mean, she's eating, you know, a lot more active. So the good thing is that she never stopped having healthy releasing urination and bowel movements. So it was, and we were just very, very grateful. But what I want to share this with you is that because it was right at that edge of, oh my gosh, do I believe? Do I trust what the guides are telling me? It's not my imagination. And I didn't even bother. I didn't even call the vet. So that I wouldn't have to hear, oh my goodness, you should do this. Didn't even notify him. Now, if you have a younger pet, and this happens to them, because there was a case of, and again, it depends upon the breed. There was a 4-year-old dog that had gotten it. Absolutely did this treatment to get the dog to a place where it would be healthier for surgery than go in and have this dog have her hysterectomy. Absolutely at a young age. At 4 years old, that dog was old. Yes, go get the hysterectomy. All right. So I'm not against it. And especially if your breed, you know, is a high risk for the for the pyometra. I most definitely would look into that and have that taken care of. So this is just, and it puts you know what? It's like, I feel empowered. I had no idea if this was going to work. We had no idea if administering on Saturday, yesterday was Saturday night, going to bed and waking up Sunday morning, what we were going to find Sunday morning. And it was just, you know, it's kind of like day to day, oh my gosh, is she still with us? And so it's, let's say it's almost like it's a risk, it's a chance, but everything is risky. Don't you know that doctors try to hide that part from you? Like hospitals, doctors, and nurses, they don't want you to see their concern. They don't want you to see their fears and their concerns. They want you to just be calm and trust us. All right, I'm going to trust my heavenly guidance. My heavenly, guides, my team, before any earthly team. Doesn't mean I don't trust them, but I'm going to check with them first. Let's go here. And then, if we need to follow up physically, then we'll do that. All right? So I just want this to help you, to empower you as pet owners, so that you have more knowledge, more wisdom in which to approach not only dealing with your vet, but in caring for your furry babies. So again, if there's any, if you would like to have copies of these transcripts, copies of these articles, please email me. I'll send them to you. Like I said, I will put the links on the YouTube video on the bottom, so you will have that. And thank you so much for watching this show. And if any of you have any topics that you would like to have discussed, please email me that too, and I'll be happy to take it to the guides and bring it to you during showtime. One note: there's not going to be a show next Tuesday. There's not going to be actually any TPN TV or radio shows next week. I'm taking a vacation, taking the next week off. I am the True Seconds Network, the TPN show producer. So I have family coming in from out of town, from Arizona. I'm really excited about that. So it's going to take a week off, enjoy the family. So my next show then will actually be the 23rd, June 23rd. All right, so I'll return back to the airwaves on June 23rd. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching my shows, whether they are live or archived. And please do check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. There's plenty of other videos, my old shows, and then also I made some half-hour videos as well on specific topics. So be sure to check that out. You can find it under Tiffany White on YouTube, or also Goldylocks, TOH, which is for Temple of Healing. So either way, you can find it. And again, you could get it through my website, whitesagewoman.com. Thank you, everyone, so much. I am deeply honored and grateful that we all sit in sacred circle together, share that energy, share that love. Many blessings to each and every one of you.